It's the guts and it's the glory. 100 stripes, 100 stories. It's the Pledge of Allegiance on the 4th of July. It's the handwritten letters from home. It's the sleepless nights alone. Newborn baby you left at your wife. It's the red, white, and blue. Lay down his life. It's the red, white, and blue. While these stars in the stripes. From the hills of Indiana, from the swamps of Louisiana, to the golden coast of California. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down his life. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, while these stars in the stripes.
Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in today. Battle on the Homefront. Big shout out to OKGOP TV, Chairman David McLean. I got my good friend Zach Starr on today. We got a good show lined up about entrepreneurship, business, and how to help you. Here you go.
It's the guts and it's the glory. 100 stripes, 100 stories. It's the Pledge of Allegiance on the 4th of July.
Introducing all new, safe, natural relief. A cannabinoid-rich, clarity and focus formula when it matters most. You've got a job to do. Anxiety isn't an option. Programmed to keep you moving. A product exclusively manufactured for Active Duty RX by Cantech Labs.
It's the handwritten letters from home. It's the sleepless nights alone. Newborn baby you left at your wife. It's the red, white, and blue. Lay down his life. It's the red, white, and blue. While these stars in the stripes. From the hills of Indiana, from the swamps of Louisiana, to the golden coast of California.
What's up everybody? Battle on the Homefront. This is Kyle Early. My friend here is Zach Starr, Air Force, entrepreneur. And we first hooked up in 2018.
Yeah, it's 2018, right after I think legalization here in Oklahoma.
We had a mutual friend, and he was, man, my dude, he's doing these bots. That's when you had bots.
Yeah.
And that was...
Yeah, it was chatbots. Basically, we use a natural language processor. Like whenever you go into you have like Hey Alexa or Hey Siri or something along those lines. But we'd use Google's platform. So Hey Google, right? So we'd use a natural language processor to program a chatbot to be able to type back. Not actually voice, but we could use that same platform for it to actually text, right? So if you texted a question, you could theoretically teach it to answer that question.
Yeah, because it was doing it on my website. It was the most, it saved me so much time. Ridiculous. It would answer the questions for you, then answer the question, then it'd pull up product list.
Yeah, and a lot of people would like, now when you're hearing it right now, you're thinking we're giving birth to like Skynet or the next AI or something like that, but it's machine learning. So like there's several types of AI, and machine learning is still kind of down there on the bottom. Then you got like your deep thinking computers that are going to come out with some crazy stuff, but machine learning is basically a teachable where you teach it, right? So if you ask a question 50 times, it records it, right? It'll say, hey, I was asked this 50 times. And maybe it was asked 100 different questions, but one of them stands out in particular because it's recording it. You can see that. And so you teach the machine now to answer all 50 versions of that question, right? So like if it gets asked this question, then it knows the most commonly phrased, to rephrase that question several ways. And then it's able to answer those questions as you slowly teach it to answer it over time.
How long has that been around? Bots?
Chatbots, they've been around for a while, for a very long time, to be honest. Probably about 6-7 years at least, that we know about, right? They could have been around longer than that. If you're looking to like play with a chatbot, there's something called, I think, Cleverbot. If you Google it, Cleverbot, just ask it a bunch of questions and just know that it's learning as you're asking it those questions, and That's
And
it.
it helps with any startup company.
Yeah. So like for a business and how that would be applied, like you were saying earlier, is let's say that you're getting overwhelmed. For example, we had a clinic, right? It was a doctor, a medical marijuana clinic that was scheduling patients with doctors. So what we could do is they would be able to come in and message your Facebook page, and they'd be able to schedule an appointment through the chatbot. They'd walk it through and be like, this is what you need to bring, this is what you need to do, and then do you have any questions? And when you'd ask a question, it could either A, answer that question, or it could forward you to like a phone and be like, hey, we're open at this time, so this time. But it'd also know that you close at 5. So it wouldn't forward you to a phone number. It'd like forward you to email or what's next.
Yeah, and some people don't. And I remember even on Active Duty RXs, because it was on the Facebook at that time.
Yeah.
And I remember people like, I don't want to talk to a bot, and it would instantly send all the contact information to get with an employee, or even me at that time. As a young entrepreneur, I would put my cell phone number on all my business stuff. Like I wanted in every way to be able to help them. But people can get turned off by that, you know what I mean?
It can, and it's not for every business, it's not for, it's just for, if you're starting to get messages and you're getting overwhelmed, and that's, it's for you. It helps weed out some things too, because like sometimes we get a lot of messages on Facebook that may not be, quite essential, so like it could be a bot itself messaging you or something along those lines. But yeah, it helps you weed those out. It kind of helps you get everything scheduled, and kind of main thing is it collects data, right? So like it learns from your customers. It tells you a little bit about your customers, where are they going, what's their favorite product. Like, so in your case, it would showcase a menu of all the active duty products, and it would record who was navigating to what product, and this is the one that you're getting viewed the most, so like this is the way you rearrange it on your website now. Another example is like the Oklahoma City Thunder. They have a bot, right? They have a chat bot, and people were asking where the restrooms were. I can't find the restrooms in certain sections of the building, so they actually relocated their restrooms to that section because the bot said, hey, people can't find their restrooms.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think for a startup, how important for a startup company would that be, you think?
I don't know. For a startup company, if you're just starting out, I would not prioritize a chatbot unless that's like. Unless you're just getting overwhelmed with messages. If you're getting 20 messages a day, we'll say, like if you're getting 20 messages a day, then you might need to start considering like a chatbot. And it's just basically an interactive, like I don't want to like put it down to that, but it's an interactive agent that can direct people to where they need to be, right? It's the first step. Yes, will people get frustrated a little bit? Yeah, but in the long run, it's better than nothing, right? It's better than having nobody there to talk to or nobody to answer your question. And at least I can ask a question, and it might guide me in the right direction, or at least tell me.
Even if it's rerouted back to you, even that bot's going to be a lot easier for a company instead of hiring.
Now, if you want to talk, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, if you want to talk startups, though, like what's important for the startups is your first 10 customers, right? Like that's the most important thing, is get out there and get those first 10, and then you can start growing from there and getting the feedback and what do you need to do, what do you need to evolve, what systems you need to build, what needs to be in place.
And you did something cool. When you was in Kuwait, you was contracting in Kuwait, and you did a podcast, Kickstart. Yeah. To help Kickstart, and tell everybody what Kickstart is. Because I just found out recently what it is, and for somebody that's got a business idea, that's got a tangible product, that wants to start a company but don't have the capital, because you really don't want to get small business loans, right? Like that's a dangerous territory to get, but there's a ways to go about it, and Kickstart is one of those ways.
So if you got a product, this is like for product-based businesses, which active duty, it's a product. So if you're coming out with a new product or something like that, Kickstarter is a great way to raise funds in like pre-launch, pre-step phase, right? I'm trying to think if we had something here for an example. I think I got a pin. All right, let's say that you was coming up with a pin, right? I feel like sell me this pin. You thought that's what I was gonna do, huh?
Wolf of Wall Street, if y'all ain't seen that.
No, so like let's say you come up with a new style pin. Maybe it's like just aesthetically, like just looking at it, it's pleasing, right? You look at it like, oh, this is a nice pin. People will like this. So you want to sell this pin on the market, but you find out that it's going to cost you $10,000 to make like 1,000 pins, because you can't just order 20, right? Because like now they got a minimum purchase order where you got to spend $10,000 to order like 1,000 of these pins. So you don't have that money right now, and you're right. The options are I could go to a business and get a loan, maybe ask, family members, raise a little friends and family round or something like that to get the money I need with the business plan. But then, you're on the hook for those people's money, right? Like, that's your family that you just borrowed money from, or the loan who probably had to put some type of personal collateral up for that business loan. And all you want to do is try to sell these pins. You haven't even tested the market yet, right? But you have to order 1,000 of them. So a great way to do that would be a crowdfunding campaign. Crowdfunding campaigns are like Kickstarter and Indiegogo.com. Those are two websites you can check out. It's absolutely free to back, and it's actually free to launch a campaign too, which is like incredible, right? So with Kickstarter, you'd go to there, you'd make a video. This is my pin. This is what my pin does. Look how beautiful it is. If you want to order it, you can order it now for $10, right? That's the early bird price. It really costs $20, but because you're paying for it on Kickstarter, you can order it for $10 right here, right now.
Basically get those pre-orders.
Yeah, you get the
start
pre-orders.
building those pre-orders up and raise the capital.
And everybody that's going to Kickstarter and Indiegogo, they already know that, like, hey, this is just pre-orders. It's going to be like a year before I get it. And sometimes it takes longer, but it's going to be like a year before I get those products. Yeah, it's taking a year. Some people really got their stuff together and they're planning ahead. They're using it as like a marketing platform, so that you'll get it within like 6 months, But like, yeah, it usually takes about it takes some time frame, lengthy time frame. Yeah. Maybe not with pins, but like with some other things, it's pretty complex, like drones and all sorts of things that you got on there. But the point is, it's free to try, right? So like if you go on there and you run a Kickstarter campaign and you make your little video and you put your categories in there, you put some content in there, and let's say that you fail. Right? Like you failed. But guess what? You did have. I guarantee you had at least one backer, all right? One person went on your campaign and paid $10. So if you really want to succeed, just do it a whole bunch more times until you get it right? And you'll slowly build an audience that way, I guess. But
Hey, y'all stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Mr. Red, White, and Blue, while these stars in the stripes.
Safe, natural relief. A cannabinoid-rich, clarity and focus formula when it matters most. You've got a job to do. Anxiety isn't an option. Programmed to keep you moving. A product exclusively manufactured for Active Duty RX by Cantech Labs.
It's the guts and it's the glory. 100 stripes, 100 stories. It's the pledge of allegiance on the 4th of July. It's the handwritten letters from home.
Hey, we're back, everybody. Zach Starr, my good friend here. So we were talking about Kickstart, other things, but you're talking about the first 10 customers in any business, right?
Yeah.
And so you're looking for the first 10 in your business, which is Green Rooster. And I use Green Rooster, and I know the quality of what y'all do there.
Yeah, so Green Rooster, that's something that we started right after COVID happened, I guess. When COVID happened, I wanted to take advantage. I felt like, there's going to be this opportunity right now. There's this market for this. A lot of companies were being forced to shut their doors and forced to go to online sales, and it was just natural that American Wholesale Hemp, that we already had a platform that was approved. We go under strict regulations and
Strict.
And we're constantly being monitored and constantly updating. And since we already had this platform that was out there and that was approved, we had payment processors, relationships with payment processors. It just made sense for us to naturally go into hey, let's build websites for CBD companies, right? We've already got a couple websites that work for the brands and for our company, so why not spin off that and then start doing websites for all CBD companies? And if we could come in at a low enough barrier to entry, like the price point, right? If we can come in at a low enough price
And
point.
you'll have the first 10 customers are going to get a phenomenal
Yeah,
price break.
of course, the first 10, it's really good right now.
I jumped in on one of the first 10, I promise you that.
Yeah, and we're still looking, right? But it's down to CBD companies though, because that's
all you're wanting to do.
Yeah, because that's what we specialize in.
Right.
Yeah, so we could be a website company for everybody,
Right.
but there's a ton of website companies for everybody, and I think it's important to niche down, right? You got to stay in one particular area that which is the regulations and everything that comes with CBD and what we can say,
FDA
what we can't
regulations,
say.
all the
labeling, all of that stuff.
And y'all do all that.
And we do all of it.
They do it all for me.
Yeah.
And we're within all guidelines.
Yeah.
Gary Elder and
Yeah, and we're constantly staying on top of that too, right? Like, I mean, we join programs like the National Animal Supplement Council that inspects our labels. That's basically the pet version of the FDA, and that's how we're basing all of our guidelines, right? So, like, even our website guidelines, what we can say, what we can't say. Everybody's trying.
NASC members.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Green Rooster is not, but American Wholesale Hemp
Right.
is. So, yeah, through there, vis-a-vis, we learn, and that's how we were able to build our websites and make sure that we stay within compliance, right? And right now, we are pretty cheap. We're looking for those first 10, and the main reason is we want our first 10 customers to understand, and that's why we explain to them, like, hey, you're one of our first customers. There's going to be bumps, you know. There's going to be timelines that get blown. There's going to be issues as we're going through this because we're just starting out. That's why the price is what it is, and we're going to learn.
What is the price for the first 10? Can you say that?
Yeah, it's $788.
There you go.
Yeah,
and
right now.
normally that website's built and
E-commerce at that.
E-commerce on top of, I mean, they do subscription models to where your products are drop shipping, automatically pulling. What else you got on there? Affiliate program stuff.
We got affiliate programs. We got subscription models. For example, if you wanted to buy Clarity and Focus, and you just wanted it to come to your door every single month, right? Because there's 30 pills, right?
Yeah, 30 capsules.
30 capsules inside. So then you want one each day, or maybe you take 2 each morning. I'm not sure the dosing, but if you wanted it to come every single month, then you'd be able to set up a subscription model through the website, and it just automatically
goes. As a business owner,
every month. Yep.
That's where it's at. As a business owner, you can start calculating. You already know what's coming.
And then you got affiliate programs, right?
Yeah.
So like if for Active Duty RX, if you want to be an affiliate, you could sign up, and then you could sell Active Duty RX products and earn money on return. And that could be your product, and it could be really anything for affiliate programs. That's just a great way to kind of get I don't want to say organic, but kind of like organic marketing out there because other people are spreading the word of your product in return earn money. So.
And helping you. And getting a percentage off the affiliate. It's a beautiful thing. Employing people, and then you can work from your home. Yeah. And that's what my big push is for veterans, right? Like, so many of us just don't like people, right? Like, we like each other, our brothers and sisters, but dealing with people or going on or having, mental issues and struggling with those kind of deals and not wanting to go out in public, you can work from your home.
Well, yeah, I agree. You can. And all you need is a laptop. And like you said, I was a contractor, right, in the Middle East. And when I was over there, when I was in the Kuwait at the time, I remember that, like, as first year as a contractor, I did what everybody does, right? Watch movies on Morale Drive.
Talking about this earlier.
Yeah, like, just sat around, just waiting for time to go by. And when it was busy, we were busy. But in the meantime, we were just sitting there watching movies, buying DVDs, right? The bootleg DVDs. But then after the first year, I was like, something's got to change, man. I'm a contractor. I'm making some decent cash right now. And I'm not doing anything with it, so I got to reinvest it. I got to reinvest my time, right? Yeah. So I started reading a book and like how to make money on the internet. It became a popular Google search of mine, and it, one thing led to another, and it kind of brought me to here about a decade later.
Yeah.
But
you was an entrepreneur, and even you was grinding. You was doing the podcast for Kickstart.
I launched a podcast when I was over in Kuwait, and I was interviewing Kickstarter and Indiegogo campaign creators to like basically find out their secrets. It's like, hey, how did you raise $1 million? What did you do? Who did you talk to? And they want to share that too.
Yeah.
They're happy with their success. They want to talk about it. And I was just giving them a platform and a voice to actually do that, right? So that's what I was doing with the podcast. And what's crazy is just, I don't know. They say all good things, like, what is it? I don't believe I make my own luck type of thing. All good things come to those that hustle, and I truly do believe that. And if you go out there and you put in the work, strange things happen. Like through the podcast, I was able to meet some guys from something called Podcast Movement, which is this huge organization now that does podcasting. And they threw a conference, which is like the Academy Awards for podcasting now. And I met them through that because they ran a Kickstarter campaign for the very first event. And they really kind of took me under their wing because they knew I was over in the Middle East, while I was recording my episodes and everything like that. And they really took me under their wing and kind of put me on to my first gigs and my first jobs and my first consulting jobs. My first time consulting on a Kickstarter campaign came through them. So if you go out there and you work at it every single day and you try and you give it everything you got, good things are going to come to you. It's just it's good karma out there or something. So
yeah, you actually motivated me because before I started doing this, which is totally out of my comfort zone, right? But I think even in what we do in entrepreneurship, you have to get out of your comfort zone because first off, it's scary because failure is going to happen without a doubt. I failed.
But you got to embrace that.
Yeah, you love the struggle eventually because it makes it so much more rewarding. You know what I mean? And failing on times, but you were like,
I'm competitive, dude.
Business and entrepreneurship.
That's why I love entrepreneurship. I feel like it's a giant game of football that just keeps going forever.
And you inspired me because you're like, Kyle, you got to start doing a show, a podcast. You got to start doing something, man. And this and so me and Moto, here we are. But like you're saying though, it's a competition, and anytime that you get into it, know your field, right? You need to know if you sell dog tags, you better know everything there is about a dog tag because there's people out there that know more than you. You're going to lose that game.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? That's like with my products. I can't tell you how many nights. I'm not a nutraceutical specialist. You know what I mean? I compounded with one that's been doing it for 30 years, but I wanted to know every reason and why my products are so effective. You know, and I think that's super important for people to understand in entrepreneurship.
That's what those first 10 customers are about too. When you got those customers, that's what you do. You ask them, like, what did you like? What didn't you like? Right. And you have to ask them, what didn't you like? You got to ask them and force them sometimes to tell you where you failed, right? Because you want to know those points, because you want to correct those points, and you want to systematize it and make it where you're not the one doing it anymore. You're hiring somebody to do it, because that's when entrepreneurship really starts, right? Like when you're teaching other people to do that task. Yeah. Because then you can focus on growing the business.
All right, hey, we'll be right back,
You won't be where you left at your wife. Mr. Red, White, and Blue laid down his life. Mr. Red, White, and Blue brought these stars and the stripes.
Safe, natural relief. A cannabinoid-rich, clarity and focus formula when it matters most. You've got a job to do. Anxiety isn't an option. Programmed to keep you moving. A product exclusively manufactured for Active Duty RX by Cantech Labs.
It's the guts and it's the glory. 100 stripes, 100 stories. It's the pledge of allegiance on the 4th of July. It's the handwritten letters from home. It's the sleepless nights alone. You won't be where you left at your wife. Mr. Red, White, and Blue lay down his life. Mr. Red, White, and Blue brought these stars and the stripes. From the hills of Indiana, from the swamps of Louisiana, to the golden coast of California.
Hey, what's up, everybody? OK GOP TV. Big shout out to Chairman David McClain, giving veterans a voice in Oklahoma. Back with my buddy Zach Starr, talking entrepreneurship, business, startups, all the cool things you've done.
Yeah, it's been a lot.
How's your? Tell me about your military service and how do you think that transitioned into you being the entrepreneur you are now?
All right, so I was in the Air Force.
Yep.
Right, I was in the Air Force for 6 years. I signed up for 6. I did 7, so I did like a year extra. You know, after I got out, that's when I became a contractor. When I was in the Air Force, I was a 1 Charlie 3. I was command post controller. So I got the advantage of knowing a lot of information, right? And I think that kind of plays back into like the chatbot thing.
For sure.
For sure. We were able to get all this information from all across the base, everything that was going on the base, and plus, whenever we weren't just in charge of the base, we had like different like commands that we were under, like we were in charge of those too, right? So we'd have to report to like a specific command on everything that's happening with this command, not just our base, but all the other little units that were out there, the FOBs, the FOBs that are out there, and all that other stuff. So I got to see the big picture come in to my office, right? And then we took that big picture, and then we would relay that actually to the commander. So we knew half the time what was going on before the commander knew, and like we'd already know the next steps too, right? But we'd have to get the commander to sign off. So we'd be like, "Hey, we got this for you. This is what's going on. Oh, and this is ready to go. All you gotta do is sign that." You know, like we try to sneak it in there to like hurry up and get through it. You know, like try to rush through this day. But because of that, like I think that may be a little bit why I'm like so data heavy, and I like driving into data and looking into that data. And I think a lot of it also is, you know, I don't know about you. I had an office job, but I had 12-hour days every single day. Like, you know, not every single day, but we had like 6 and 4s, you know, like 4 on, 3 off, stuff like that.
On garrison.
Yeah. Well, anywhere we were, like every single day we had 12-hour shifts. So like I had to sit back and watch people from finance, like, get lunch break and then get to go play like intramural sports and stuff. And I'm like, man, dude, I can't even go to the gym right now. I'm stuck locked in this little bunker over here, like sitting there like waiting for information to come in.
Yeah.
And but because of that, like, there's a lot of spare time too, right? And I know a lot of military jobs, we get that. We get that spare time. And I think it's important what we do with that spare time. I think how we capitalize on that is what's really the difference,
Even outside the military.
Yeah, even outside the military. And yeah, any job you have spare and downtime. Like, some people choose to sit around and chat. You can do water cooler chat, talk about sports, or maybe surf the internet, which is what probably a majority of the people do, right? The majority of the people do that kind of thing. And, like, wait for the day to be over so they can get home and, relax and just sit back. But I think during that downtime, there's other things you could do that were more productive. Like I said, it wasn't really... Honestly, I was still that guy in the military. I was that guy that's like, let me get me on. I'm done with my work, dude. Leave me alone. I'm done. I finished my work, man. I don't got nothing else to do. Like, I'm gonna go, and I'd do it too. I'd come to work, and I'd have a 12-hour shift, and we'd have all this work laid out in front of me, and I'm like, bam, done in 45 minutes. And then like I'm sitting there, all right, now I can relax, and then I'd get mad when something else came in, but I didn't have that drive yet. I didn't have that want. I didn't have that thirst to, like, for success. For entrepreneurship, to make that money. I didn't have that yet.
But you was getting molded.
Yeah, I think slowly. Yeah, with the data,
the leadership.
All of that. That is confidence, self-confidence. I think is huge.
That is your personal brand, which is data and what you do. That's who you are, and that's the first time I met you. That's what you was doing. So I think,
Yeah, and I do. I think the military did mold me. I think it molds a lot of people. And I think that, like, veterans do make great entrepreneurs because you know how to go out. I want to say something right now, but it's like a cuss word. You know how to go out and get stuff done. All right, you know how to do it because, like, people have asked you to do that, and they've asked heavy and big and crazy tasks. Yeah. And time again, as veterans and military members, we all go out there and we get it done.
We work well under pressure.
Yeah, we work well under pressure. It's like exactly. That's a great way of putting it. I like my way a little better, but that's the common way of putting it. We work well under pressure. Yeah. I agree with that, and I think that you all are set up to be like entrepreneurs. Every single veteran, that what has to be done, and you just have to go out and do it. It's like it's just that middle task. Before the military, that might be one of our slight disadvantage is we're used to being told to go do that task. Oftentimes, like I said earlier, we'd go to the commander. We already knew what the next step was, and I'm sure in everybody else's jobs they did the same thing. But now nobody's telling you to do it. That's it. You're telling yourself to do it. Go out there and do it. That's it. Wake up early. I still wake up early. You wake up early.
Work out
exercise.
Morning,
yes, I think exercise is very
mental
important.
Health,
Yes, it is.
In general.
And also remember, the morning time is when you're at your best. That's when your brain is thinking the most. You have the most energy. You have a limited capacity. So what you do in the morning is very important.
Sets your day.
Yeah, it sets your whole day. If you decide to sleep in, I know that if I sleep in, I have a hard time the rest of the day. I feel sleepy the rest of the day. But if I get up and I get that morning run in, then I'm ready to go. Yeah. So I think it's very important what you do first thing in the morning, and if you can continue on what you were doing already for so many years, that healthy standard.
Great in the morning. We didn't team felt great.
Yeah,
man. We go drink a bottle of Jack Daniels.
Sometimes I didn't feel great because of that, right? Like sometimes you'd come in the morning and you're like, man, I don't want to run.
Yeah,
but you had to.
We did it. We felt good.
Yeah, and we got it done.
And you're beating it. You know what I mean? You're motivated. You're getting it. Mm-hmm. And I think for veteran entrepreneurs, just like what you were saying, man, we work well under pressure. We have leadership skills. We're competitive because, like what we talked about, it's very entrepreneurship is very competitive. You better be good, and having the right resources and being around the right people constantly. The company I keep is hungry entrepreneurs that want their own lifestyle, that wants to wake up in the morning, they want to make their time, they want to help people. Those, if you run with dogs, you get fleas.
Yeah.
That's the best way to put it. And I think it's super important for entrepreneurs to understand, the company you keep around you is super important. Have motivated, smart, healthy people around you.
And that's a hard thing to look at sometimes too, right? Like a lot of us, whenever we get out of the military, we go back home, we start hanging out with those old friends, right? And there's nothing wrong with hanging out with your old friends, seeing your old buddies and stuff, but at the same time, just remember who you want to be and what mission what you're on. This is your mission, this is your path, this is your job, this is your career, this is your business that you're starting. So, if you're going to go out there and do that, hang out with business owners. You know, you can hang out with your friends every once in a while at the same time, but hang out with business
How
owners.
hungry are you?
Yeah,
that's what it comes down to. What are you doing on Friday night? If you want to be a business owner and be, have your own thing going and be successful, how hungry are you?
Yeah.
I mean, what are you doing? Are you watching, instead of listening to music every day, I listen to motivational stuff, Gary Vee, Tony Robbins, I mean, so many other, Mark Cuban,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? People that are going to help me learn. I feel guilty when I listen to music now. I want to be motivated myself and constantly be growing in who I am and my personal brand and how I represent my company and all them things.
Yeah.
So
I agree. If you want to be a millionaire, hang out with millionaires. You want to be an entrepreneur, hang out with entrepreneurs. You want to be an idiot, hang out with idiots.
Because it'll get
it'll get that. Yeah,
It'll get to
that's what happens. So I mean, like you said, it really just boils down to how bad do you want it. Like, get on it. Get out there and go and get it.
Get it. That's yours. Thank you, bro.
No problem.
It's a pleasure, like always.
Yeah, thank you for having me on.
Yeah. Y'all, make sure you stay tuned.
Mr. Red, White, and Blue, all these stars and the stripes.
Introducing all new, safe, natural relief. A cannabinoid-rich, clarity and focus formula when it matters most. You've got a job to do. Anxiety isn't an option. Programmed to keep you moving. A product exclusively manufactured for Active Duty RX by Cantech Labs.
It's the guts and it's the glory. 100 stripes, 100 stories. It's the pledge of allegiance on the 4th of July. It's the handwritten letters from home. It's the sleepless nights alone.
Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in today. Big shout out to OKGOP, Chairman David McClain, giving veterans a voice in Oklahoma and giving us an outreach program like what we have here. Y'all make sure y'all scan my QR codes and get all my contact stuff, my business pages, and if you need any help with anything, make sure you reach out to me.
Yeah, and if you get a chance, check out American Wholesale Hemp right here. And Green Rooster, we don't have a website yet, but you can email me, Zach, at greenroosterco.com.
Oh, bro. Thank you.
Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down his life. Mr. Red, White, and Blue. It's the guts and it's the glory. 100 stripes, 100 stories. It's the pledge of allegiance on the 4th of July. It's the handwritten letters from home. It's the sleepless nights alone. Newborn baby you left at your wife. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down his life. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, while these stars in the stripes.